Good morning, everybody. It's RH Guide Service. It's Raith. Today, I'm going to talk about striper fishing because last night and yesterday evening, we got into the stripers, and I posted up the pictures, and everybody was calling and asking, and there's so many people wanting to know how, why, what we were doing, everything we were using. But it's pretty much the same thing every day. It's you go out there. It was one of those days. It's, you know, I've been doing this my whole life with my dad and his dad and all that and all my buddies. But we're going to go over the lures and how to catch big fish. You know, it's not luck. Everybody's always asking, where are you fishing? And it's I always tell them, it's not where, it's how. It's how you're fishing, what you're using. There's certain things that catch big stripers. So I'm going to go through it today, and I'm going to go through what catches big stripers and just what catches stripers, period. So to help everybody else out, we'll get you on YouTube. I'm Fishing with RH, and you go on there. I have a lot of videos on there. I'm working with Justin Wolf, Angler West Television, on bringing you guys. Justin has always been good about bringing you guys up to date on what's working, how we're catching fish. So to answer a whole bunch of questions today, I'm going to go through a quick deal with stripers. So last night, yesterday afternoon, we take off. This is all I took. This the only box I took right here. I've got my jerk baits. These are for small stripers. If you want to just put fish, and I've caught fish in the 20 pounds on these, but this one's by Spro. It's a really tiny hooks. It's a really hot lure at times. Every lure, but you know, you got your white, your bone. Your bone is the best. The bone is always my favorite go-to, the bone. But the yellow can be good as well. But you notice the little tiny hooks. The key to these are light rods. It's hard to cast them with the bait caster. Yes, I know there's pros out there that can throw them to the moon. But a light spinning rod, you know, 7.5 foot, 8 foot rod, you know, 7 foot you can get away with. But you have to loosen your drag up. I run 40-pound line on my jerkbait rods, 40-pound braid direct. I always clip a P-line clip because I might go from this to casting any other variety of lures. But I run the dual lock clip on the line so I can change lures. That's what it's for. Change lures. I haven't had a problem with losing big fish. But back to big fish on these lures and fish, period. They got a real tiny hook. So you run a loose drag. The good thing about them is you set the hook. These hooks get everywhere in them. They don't come off. These hooks, they just, rarely do they come off. What happens is you bend a hook out, they come off. Or they get you in a snag or something because you have to run a loose drag. But once you get the hook set, you'll learn how much pressure you can put on them and that. But this one's a Duo Realis. This one's a Spro. Very, very good lures right here, guys. And then our big fish lures. You know, that's to put fish in the box. You only need a handful of lures to catch these big stripers. But I did all the damage, most of the damage yesterday on this right here. It's a Bomber, long A, Magnum. This is the exact lure I was using because we had to change the hook out. I run stock hooks until I have to change them out. But as you can see, this was a brand new lure, got tore up right out of the box. I went by Johnson's Bait and Tackle yesterday, went and seen Brian in there, and Jimmy and Terry Basham, all the boys. But they had a pile of these they got in. The long A Magnum, I'm giving you guys everything you need right here. This lure is over the years has caught more big fish than any lure I know. But it's just one of them lures. You just cast it, reel it back. There's no special thing you do. It comes down back to time on the water. Everybody says, where you catch them? It's not where, it's how. It's how, guys. It's you go, you target the rivers and you fish with certain lures. These lures are proven. They're going to catch fish. And that one still smells like fish. But anyways, I like to look for shallow water next to deep water. Now, if I'm in the Sacramento River, in the Delta, in the Feather River, Yuba River, Bear River, you know, you got to have a little bit of deep water, 10, 12 feet deep. That'll work, but 20, 30 feet deep's even better. And you fish the edges of that deep water at night. It normally is how I catch my big fish, or troll them. That is one of the key things to catching big fish. They got to have deep water to hide, or at least some structure. You know, if you get into a lot of trees and snags and that, they'll be laying underneath one of those. But of course they do travel up and down the river. But I find that they, you know, if you find deep water, you're going to have more big fish in the area, and then you're going to catch more big fish. But that was a go-to lure last night. Also, you got this time of year, you've got your glide baits. Everybody's throwing glide baits. I don't catch as many fish as I do. This is $10 lure, this is $50 lure. I don't catch as many, but I do. You got to have one because it's first thing, it's awesome to fish. You get a great bite. This is the Papa Pete by G-Rat. This is the Sneaky Pete, just a little smaller lure. They both catch big fish. I do better on the Papa Pete. Now, this is the Rapala. Everybody's all, what's the deal with the Rapalas? Well, the Rapala's got the little bit deeper bill. I glue them with a 414 Wader adhesive glue. It really works out well for them. It keeps the bill on. You can't put these in a net, guys. You put these in a net, you put these in a net, you're going to break the tails off. You're going to change the action of the lure. We do net them, not always. When I'm on other people's boats and that, they have nets. So I like to boga grip them in that, but I'm telling you, if you want to save your lures, don't net the fish. If they're great big ones, hey, we're going to let them go anyways. They're full of mercury. They're not the best in the world to eat. The meat changes, definitely changes. I like the little 5-pounders. You know, they've only been alive a few years. They can't get too contaminated, at least not as bad as one's been there 20, 25 years. We need the big stripers for breeders. I hear, oh, they eat the salmon. Yes, they do eat salmon. But the little guys are really bad on the salmon. But what's also bad on the salmon smolt are American shad. People don't realize that the American shad, they say, oh, they eat plankton, all that. I've heard all kinds of, but they're really bad on them. But striper eats shad. But also the pike minnows is rough on the salmon. You guys, I think it's more of the guys running the hatcheries and whatnot are doing the best they can. Everybody's doing what they can for the salmon. I just feel like the technology's gotten so good out in the ocean and that they're scooping up all of our salmon before they come back into our river systems. And, you know, if it was just rod and reel for salmon out in the ocean, I don't think we'd have a problem ever again on salmon, but that's me. I don't know. I'm not a biologist, but I've been out there my whole life. That's why I think so. I like my big stripers. I like to leave them alone. They do feed on a lot of fish that eat salmon eggs, like pike minnow and different things like that. But hey, they've coexisted for years. Let's be on the same team, guys, not fight with each other, work with each other. So anyways, the Rapala is another big striper lure. Sorry to get into politics, but I had to kind of throw it out there because that came up a lot. But the Rapala is a big fish lure. And I used the hooks off of the P-line. It's the same hooks. I believe they're VMC hooks. And they're a little hook, and this is, a lot of people are really catching a lot of big fish on the P-line. These lures are pretty much the same. They go about the same depth. The P-line, broken back, the Angry Eye. Now, everybody knows I'm really like this color, and I also like the Predator, the deep runner in this lure. So here you go, guys. We got three lures. We got the Rapala, we got the P-line, and we have the Bomber. So you got your jerkbait. Then you got your giant swim baits. A lot of guys are using these. They throw them out, bring them across there on a different variety of ways to rig them up. But it's a giant, these ones are made by Kitech. This is a giant Kitech, but this is they're kind of a cool lure. This is a rig. And basically I got your little Kitech, and most of the fish bite the bottom one. This lure and the glide bait, this is the time of year for these two lures. Now, yesterday I did all my damage on the Bomber, like I said, but if I wasn't catching fish, I would have definitely went to the A-rig, and I'd concentrated on deep water. You throw this out, 20, 30 feet of water, you let it hit the bottom, you throw it slightly upriver. You don't want to drag it from downriver up because it'll drag it to the top, but you want this to swim right along the bottom. Because when it gets cold, the fish like to go deep and they get along the bottom. So this A-rig, Rick Teets, Blade Runners, you know, he makes a great A-rig. Plus he has your swim baits and your heads, or you go Cap City Baits. They make great swim baits as well. It just depends what style they're biting that day. Everybody's got different swim baits. We got a variety of guys that make them, but those two guys right there is the guys I use. Rick Teets of Blade Runners and Cap City Baits, where I get my swim baits from. But these dual locks also, You know, you just put one on your bait caster. You can clip this on. You take this off. And when I'm running this, Daiwa 400, 80-pound braid, okay? And then, because I like to have heavy line I want to bend the hook out if I get snagged. But when you hook them great big fish, the 80 pounds for structure. Everybody says, I can get them in on 10, 15-pound line. Sure you can. But if you get trees around, which we fish structure a lot. So if they get in a tree, it gives you a chance to get them out of the tree. We just want to take a picture, see them. And they're not line shy. The striper are not line shy. If you can throw them, you can catch them on them. So you got your A-rig. You got your variety of stuff, guys. And then you got your Topwater. Your Topwater right here. Your Topwater right here is just a cotton cordell. This is a smaller one. You use big one, small one, but redhead, they all work. But anyways, you got to have a Topwater if you're striper fishing. So this is the one, you guys have seen them for years. I've done Angler West shows with them and everything else. But we went to Panama and we were catching them. I wish I had more blue and silver when I went to Panama, because they definitely in the ocean, they wanted the blue and silver. But you got to have a Topwater, always have to have that. Then you got, I've been working with this company, Bait Sanity. They got these little bluegill, and they make a variety of those glide baits. So there's a lot of different glide baits out there. You just got to pick out what you're comfortable with and what you get confidence in to catch the fish. Now, last but not least, if you're fishing, like we've had all this rain, you're fishing brown chocolate water, and if I wasn't getting bit yesterday and my life depended on it and I needed to catch a striper, I needed to feed my family or whatever it may be, you got the blackworm. You guys all know the blackworm that follow me. You got Texas rig, you got a 1/2 ounce bullet weight, you got a Z-bend hook right here. You got the Z-bend hook. That little hook holds it on, so you just pull it back down on it. And then once you get it there, then you tighten her up and get her on here. But anyways, that's the old black worm right there, guys. So, and we didn't use it much yesterday. Didn't have to. If the bomber's gonna work, you got 1 hook or you got 9. So we went with the 9 hooks, a little bigger lure. You know, had great luck. I wasn't gonna change, I was getting bit. I was out with a couple buddies, Todd Storm, pro staff Angler West, and then Mike Triplett. He's starting his guide service. Been fishing his whole life on the river systems around Yuba City. We're up here in NorCal, fishing Sacramento Feather, Yuba Bear rivers. Also, we get down there, the Delta and whatnot. But the rivers and the Delta are red hot. I know you guys are seeing reports. There's a lot of big fish being caught. There's a lot of fish being caught. I truly don't believe it matters where you go. You're going to catch fish right now. But it's how. Once again, it's how. Take this, fish shallow water, near deep water, and fish it around structure. You got pumping water, or a point off a Thule point that's got current coming around. You have a drop off shallow to deep water. And I say shallow, it might be 2 feet to 5 feet, or 2 feet to 4 feet. But anything that creates a little soft pocket for them to lay in and ambush. Or you might have 10 feet to 30 feet. Then you throw that A-rig up there, or that worm, or Swimbait, and you bring it off there. Or then you can start off on, and fish layers. You throw your bomber up there to start off with, and cover the first 3 to 5 feet, you know, or 0 to 5 feet. And then if you want to get deeper, you can throw your A-rig down there, hit that thing on the bottom at 10 feet, bring it off that lip, and then let it fall again to get down your 20 or 30, whatever it is. But it's how you fish. Guys, slow down and fish. It's not red hot fishing anywhere. So most of the time when you go fishing, you have to work for them. You gotta kind of figure them out and get the little keys to what's going to work for the day. What, you know, maybe it's a bomber bite, maybe they're on drop off. They might want it slow, they might want it fast, but there's fish in every section of the river. And you know, our grandfathers put all these boat ramps in where there's good fishing. So you don't have to go too far from most of the boat ramps to catch fish. And if you get out there and you just work on honing in on what you think's working or what should be working, you do that, you're going to catch more fish. So guys, there it is. I mean, there's your tip for today. And I had all them questions about all them big stripers we caught last night. We had a 45 incher, we had one, and we didn't measure the other one. It had to be 43 inches. They're 30, 35 pound fish. They're big fish. And then we had a boatload of nice keepers, and we lost some nice fish as well. So it was a great day yesterday, and not every day's like that. This time of year, you're going to catch them one day. You might not catch them for a week. But anyhow, Fishing with RH, like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys tuning in today and watching. So that's how you're going to catch more stripers and follow, and we'll have more videos out, and we'll keep you guys updated on what's working. But for years now, this lure right here, yesterday was no different. That was our go-to lure. So color, I prefer the yellow, so I also do good on green, the white, the black, the olive. So they've got a variety of lures that work good. And so we got some things coming up in the future with some lures that I'm working with some people on making. So we'll see what happens. We're going to come out with some of our own lures. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching today, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.